Hey, Howard Tsumura here from Province Sports. It's that great time of the year for Head of the Class. This year is going to be our 14th annual edition, where we celebrate the best and the brightest high school seniors, student athletes in BC, and really excited about getting our section ready for publication on a number of different platforms to debut on June the 17th. And we will be counting it down today. We got the idea to look at, in chronological order, 10 of the top Head of the Class athletes over the past, as we said, 13 years, heading into our 14th edition. So we're going to take a look at some of these names. Some of them are going to be very, very familiar to you, and it's really cool because Head of the Class has allowed us to identify these athletes when they were high school seniors. I still can remember all these athletes coming into our photo studios with their parents, all excited for their Head of the Class shoot, and we followed them over the last decade plus, many of these athletes, and they've really done a great job representing, you know, not only their high schools, their universities, but their country as well. So I hope you enjoy. We are going to start off in 2001 with a name that everyone is very, very familiar with, and that is Christine Sinclair. Christine went to Burnaby North Secondary School, was a terrific, obviously, soccer player there, went on to a great collegiate career at the University of Portland. And, you know, if you lived stateside and watched ESPN, you'd see Christine Sinclair all the time. I mean, she was so nationally recognized, and of course has grown into being one of the most prolific goal scorers in the history of women's soccer in the world. And it's amazing that she was part of the second ever Head of the Class in 2001. So Christine Sinclair, what a great career she's had, and of course through the Olympics and leading her country and wearing the maple leaf and all the emotions she's brought to the Canadian national women's soccer team. I think very much a role model for all the young girls out there. And so proud to say that Christine Sinclair was part of the Head of the Class in 2001. From 2002, we want to bring to you a very, very special football player. John Cornish is his name. You've all heard of him. He plays now for the Calgary Stampeders. This past season, John Cornish led the CFL in rushing and was the first Canadian to do that in 24 years. So really neat to see John Cornish a part of our Head of the Class section in 2002. John Cornish, of course, played at St. Thomas More High School in Burnaby. If you went out to the fields on Fridays, you could see John Cornish playing for the Knights, and went on to a great collegiate career at the University of Kansas. He set the Kansas single-season rushing record while down playing Division I football. So John Cornish was a great name for Head of the Class, and obviously has gone on to have a great professional career with the Calgary Stampeders. Another athlete from 2002, very special to the female basketball audience out there, and that's Kim Smith from Heritage Park in Mission. Kim is the only athlete to have her jersey retired by the Utah women's basketball team, hanging in the rafters there at Utah, and of course went on to be selected with a 13th pick overall in the WNBA draft. So Kim Smith is one of the highlights in the history of Canadian women's basketball. We followed her right from her high school career right through to her career with the Olympic team, and this past summer was one of the driving forces leading the Canadian women's Olympic team to the London Olympics, and a great finish for the Canadian women's basketball program, which right now is at an all-time high. So Kim Smith has been instrumental in rising the level of girls' high school basketball in this province. We're going to move to 2005 and talk about a very special softball player, a sport not played a lot in the high schools, but at the community levels and for the high school age girls, one of the most popular sports in the province. So from the sport of softball, Danielle Lawrie from Brookswood High School in Langley went on to an incredible career with the Washington Huskies. Danielle led the Huskies to their first ever College World Series championship title, and she holds virtually every school pitching record at the University of Washington. I can remember Danielle Lawrie coming in with her parents for her Head of the Class photo shoot, the dress she was wearing that day, and a picture, but we took a picture of her for Head of the Class holding a bat. And a powerful, powerful athlete who was so competitive. And you really could see that on the day that Danielle Lawrie was in, how much passion she had for the sport of softball. And of course, she took it all the way to the 2000 Summer Olympics in Beijing with the Canadian team. I also remember Danielle as being a great high school basketball player, but in those days, you could see the competitive spirit there, and clearly she showed that. But 1 year, her senior year, the best collegiate softball player in the world basically was Danielle Lawrie. So proud that she was part of Head of the Class.